All right, everyone. So this is part two in the series. We're just going to talk about logical fallacies, still laying this foundation for arguments and discovering the truth. So the first logical fallacy is the ad hominem abusive. I think this is probably one of the most used fallacies. Like it's the most common. You hear it the most. It's basically when someone is attacking your character and not the substance of your argument. So if you ever hear that something is racist or that a person is racist or sexist or they're a rapist or they're a homophobe or they're anti-Semitic or they're a transphobe or they're xenophobic or they're a bigot or a fascist or a Nazi or an asshole or they're mean or they're inconsiderate, anything like that, it doesn't matter. It does not matter if someone is a Nazi. What matters is their argument. Is their argument sound? Is it valid? That's all that matters. People who just don't like the argument or something. I don't know. There's could be multiple reasons why they use this. Um, but it's not valid. It doesn't matter if someone is a Nazi or if they're racist or they're sexist or if the argument itself is racist. If the argument itself is racist, that still doesn't matter. What matters is if it's sound, if it's valid, right? Because anyone can claim something is racist or sexist. Those are made up things by us, right? It does not matter. What's true is true no matter what. Truth could be racist. It could be sexist, but that doesn't matter. What's true is true, and that's all that matters. The second one is more circumstantial, so it's still ad hominem, but you're attacking like the identity of the person. So you don't get to have a say on abortion because you're a male, right? That's the common one. Or you're a straight white male, or he's white, or you're privileged, or you're a commie, or a socialist, or this person's a criminal, you're a billionaire, anything like that, where it's more attacking their identity instead of their character. Because again, it does not matter what the identity of someone is. All that matters is whether their argument is sound and valid. Is it consistent with logic? Does it follow logical principles? Great, that's all that matters, right? It doesn't matter if I'm white. I can still make arguments, right? The argument doesn't matter if I'm white or if I'm a woman, right? That does not matter at all. It's completely irrelevant. All that matters is if it's sound and if it's valid. What's true is true, no matter what. Third one that I chose is guilt by association. So anything like, that's what the fascists did, that's what the fascists thought, that's what the fascists argued, that's what the Nazis wanted, that's what the Nazis argued, that's what Mussolini said, that's what Mao said, that's what Stalin did, that's what the socialists did, that's what the commies did. Um, that's what conservatives think. That's what liberals believe. Basically, what you can do is insert my fifth point, insert a group that or a person that someone thinks is bad or wrong, and if that's their like rebuttal or their comeback, it that's a logical fallacy. That's guilt by association. It doesn't matter, right? It because again, is the argument is it sound? Is it valid? Does it follow logical principles? That's all that matters. Which again, I'm going to repeat this a couple more times. What's true is true no matter what, right? It doesn't matter if Hitler thought it. If it's true, it's true. Hitler and or anyone can say things that are good and or true. All that matters is if it's true, sound, and valid, right? Like Hitler can say 2 plus 2 equals 4. Is it wrong because Hitler said it? No. It's right because it's right. If Hitler said 2 plus 2 equals 5, is it wrong because he said it? No, it's wrong because it's wrong. It doesn't matter who or what said or believed or thought or argued what. Hitler could even argue that smoking is bad, which he did. Does that mean that we should all become pro-smoking? No. He was just right on that thing. Like it just doesn't matter. what's true is true. What's valid is valid. What's sound is sound, right? So that's my third one. So the fourth is appeal to emotion. There's guilt tripping, there's fear mongering, pity, anger. So with guilt tripping, it's like, think of the children, or they want a better life. It's like, okay, still doesn't matter to the argument, still doesn't matter to um, the validity of something or the soundness of an argument. Fear mongering, with climate change, the world will end in 10 years, or with people who want to start a war, Iran could nuke New York. They're trying to get nukes. It's like that doesn't matter. Um, what's the validity of the argument? What's the soundness of an argument? Right? Things like that. Pity. You could argue. People would say, "Oh, well, this person had a bad upbringing, therefore this explains their behavior." It might explain their behavior, but it doesn't justify it. So your argument that we should, go either easier on them or something else. It's like that doesn't, because of their background, doesn't necessarily hold up. And then anger. So a big one that we hear is that they're separating families, and we got to do X, Y, and Z because of that. Even though that what the policy that they're arguing for might not be the best, or even claims of, they're attacking the Jews, they're this and that we hear a lot on the right. It's like, still, your policy isn't justified because of that. You got to have a good, sound, valid, logical argument for your policy. Again, what's true is true, no matter what, even though that says not. Appeal to authority. Okay, this is probably another one of the like big ones. Anything that it's like, oh, well, the scientists or the science says, that's a big one that we hear, or the Bible, um, the Torah, the Quran, my teachers or my parents or my priests, they said, um, or even like getting a big figure, either a scientist or a celebrity like Neil deGrasse Tyson says that there's more than two genders, or Bill Nye says that gender is fluid, or Stephen Hawking hypothetically believes in aliens or says there's aliens, therefore there is. Um, the WHO, the CDC, the health minister said X, Y, and Z, therefore X, Y, and Z. Harvard and Princeton said, or blank has a PhD or a degree in blank. The White House or the government said, like, the argument is what matters, not who said it, not who or what said it. It's just the argument. It's whether the argument is sound and valid, it follows logical principles, it does not commit any fallacies. That's all that matters. Um, Now, for example, like a person has a PhD in biology and they're telling you about biology, yeah, you can probably trust them. But it's true not because they said it, but because the evidence points towards it. Because a biologist can still lie or be wrong. Um, Scientists can be wrong or they can lie. Scientists or science can get things wrong, right? If, the Bible can be wrong. Any of these things can be wrong, right? They're not infallible. The White House or any government can lie or be wrong. The WHO, the WHO, right? The CDC, they can be wrong and or lie. So what matters is the argument. What matters is the evidence, the validity, the soundness. What's true is true, no matter what. Okay, straw man. So this basically, if you ever hear someone say or they start their response with "so," you can be pretty certain they're about to misrepresent you, unless they're like a genuinely like smart, thoughtful person, because most of the time people just say so, and then they completely misconstrued and misrepresent your argument. And that's what a straw man is. It's when someone takes your argument, they rephrase it into something that it is not, and typically it's weaker to attack. So if I say I don't think men should play in women's sports, people could turn that into a straw man and say, oh, so you think all trans people should die? It's like, that's not even close to what I said. and no. So don't even entertain them. Just say, please don't misrepresent me. You're not understanding me. Try to be nice about it, but you still got to just listen carefully to how they frame your argument. If they misrepresent, just call them out immediately, tell them stop misrepresenting you, and try to explain again what you actually think and believe. Appeal to religion. So this is, um, you could put this under appeal to authority, but I wanted to separate this just because of the Israel-Palestine situation that's going on. Basically, because the Bible or the Torah or the Quran said so. Um, that's why we should do X, Y, and Z. The Bible or the Torah said God gave the Jews the land so they get to have the land. It's like, no, you can believe that, but that's not an argument. That's not based on any evidence besides your belief. That's your theology. It's completely irrelevant and it doesn't matter. So yeah, there are more. There's a lot more fallacies. Like I don't even know. I think hundreds maybe, but these are just the most common that I see in today's environment that are just used over and over and over, and I think we need to address and people should be more aware of so that you can just shut them down immediately. Some phrases that I use and that I try to remember so that I can use is just saying that's irrelevant. What's true is true no matter what. What matters is if the argument is sound and valid, nothing else, or is the argument sound and valid? So if someone says that's what the Nazis thought, it's like, okay, that doesn't matter. Is the argument sound and valid? Say that's irrelevant. That's true no matter what, right? It doesn't matter. Okay. All right. Peace out.